is so much information. So just kind of try to keep up, take notes, and then make sure you write down if you guys have questions at the end, and then we'll kind of go over it then. But what I had started to say was that I really have been doing a lot of research about branding yourself. Okay. So I've been in the business for, gosh, 4.5 years now. And, you know, when I started this business, it was I was a stay-at-home mom. I had a lot of people like on my friends list that were kind of in the same boat as me, you know, just getting married, having your first few kids, kind of trying to figure out, you know, what you're going to do from your home life. And now that, you know, network marketing is such a huge business, you know, there's so many network marketing companies now, and it's becoming something that is so much more familiar with people that you really have to make it a point to find a brand about yourself, to make yourself stand out from anybody else, right? So I'm going to go over, sorry if I pause every now and then, it just means people that are kind of hopping on. So I've been following this guy. His name is Kevin Lee, Kevan, Kevin Lee, and he has these blogs that he writes about network marketing, or it's not necessarily just about network marketing, but it's basically about being an entrepreneur and owning your own business and the importance of having a brand. So I've taken a few notes from some of his blogs that he's kind of written about, and I want to share them with you guys because I understand that I've talked about this so many times, and obviously if you're brand new in the business, this is going to seem all like brand new information for you, but there are some people who have been in the business for 6 months to a year and you still aren't. I noticed when I scroll through my Facebook feed that nothing is changing within the way that you're marketing to your people, and I feel like that has such a huge effect on who you're bringing into your business. Okay, so it's so important that you're constantly keeping up with the times. And what I mean by that is that you're constantly doing the research and constantly finding new things to do that are going to make you different than every other network marketer out there. Okay. So obviously the basics, you know, of being high energy, being super confident in what you do, posting those nice pictures, but you've got to create something that sets you apart from every other network marketer, not just every other distributor with It Works, but every other network marketer. Because as I've grown my my friends list on Facebook, I've been noticing that I have a lot of network marketing reps, whether it's Unique or LuLaRoe is big right now. You know what I mean? Like there's some sort of network marketing that is going on with every new friend that I add, Shakeology, all these things, right? And so I really have been watching a lot of these girls and kind of how they market and what they're doing and what they're posting, because some of them have really high interaction and some of them have really low interaction. So it's not just It Works. It's not just one specific company. It's a whole, right? We all have to make sure that we are branding ourselves so that we stand out from every other network marketer that could potentially show up in your friends list, because as network marketing continues to grow, your entire friends list is going to be filled with somebody trying to sell you something, whether it's direct sales or whether it's real. You know, I have a ton of realtors now. A ton of my friends are realtors that are trying to sell homes, asking for leads, asking for referrals, that kind of thing. I have a lot of girl friends that do hair or nails, and they're kind of doing the same thing. So social media is such a huge aspect for people to build you know, like a dynamic of who they want to target and really create a lot of urgency within their businesses. And it doesn't matter where you're at in your business or what your business is. It just means that you're doing the right things the right way. Okay. So he starts off with talking about how there are 8 different benefits for branding yourself. Okay. So there are some very important key points I'm going to touch on as I go through this list. Okay. For one, you're going to be able to find your ideal clients, or in our world, your ideal teammates, your ideal business partners, okay, by creating a brand for yourself. And what I mean by this is that if you're somebody that, you know, if you're constantly complaining on social media, if you're whining about your job, or you're fighting with your boyfriend or your husband, or, you know, just you're constantly so negative on your Facebook, not only are you probably not going to attract a lot of people, but you're going to attract the wrong people. You're not going to attract people that you want in your business. So when you start going through this and creating a brand for yourself, you're really going to have to think about the people that you want to bring into your business. Okay. You're going to have rewarding partnerships. So one thing that I've learned really, really quickly in this business is that people are going to come and go. Okay. So people sign up, they quit a week later, or they sign up, they do the business for 6 months and then they quit, whatever the reason, right? People are going to come and go. But if you're creating a brand and you're building those relationships with the people that you want to work with, you're going to have so much longer lasting relationships and quality relationships with business like-minded people than you were if you're not branding yourself. If you're just some random person that they found on Instagram or random person that they found on Facebook and then they just signed up through you really need to make sure that you're building rewarding relationships. And what I mean by that is you benefit from it and as well as they benefit from it. So if you're partnering with people, you need to know what you're doing. You need to be able to teach them to do the same thing. And they're going to probably teach you to do some different things as well. But as long as you have, information that you both can go back and forth on. I mean, you want to bring people into your business that can teach you a thing or two about whatever it is, you know what I mean? About networking, about, social media, about being a business person, whatever it may be. If you're bringing in a ton of people who need help from day one of what to post on Facebook or how to respond to messages, and they're still needing your help in 6 months, there's a disconnect there. There's some kind of miscommunication, and you really need to find out what it is, because let's say you're completing your steps of success, okay, over the course every month. So you're adding at least 3 distributors every month. So over 6 months, you've added 18 new distributors. If you're still trying to complete your steps of success and still coming up with verbiage for people who've been in the business for 6 months, it's going to put you at a standstill. It's going to put you at a stop in your business from moving forward, because you're still so busy helping all these other people at the same time as maybe you're working a full-time job, or maybe you have a family that you want to spend time with, whatever the case may be. So you really need to make sure that these relationships that you build once people get in the business is not only helpful for you, but it's helpful for them as well, so that they can kind of do the same thing. And if they're completing their steps of success, they can teach their people the same thing. So that's really, really important. It's also going to create leadership opportunities. And this is a big deal when it comes to this business, because I feel like a big part of what holds people back is they feel like they can't be that leader. Like they feel like they can't step into that leadership role and really make a difference in, other people's lives. Okay, so I think when you can kind of start early and say, okay, these are the steps that we're going to take. We're going to start with branding yourself. These are all the benefits that it's going to do for you. It really kind of opens the door for them. Like, okay, well, this eventually is going to have to happen within my network marketing career. I'm going to have to step into that leadership role. And it can start early, just kind of planting those seeds for people so that they understand that your leadership is a big deal, which in turn, their leadership is going to be a big deal to their people as well. So having a lot of leadership around you, surrounding you, that's a huge benefit for you. The more you create a brand that separates you from everybody else, the better that your leadership is going to be to other people, if that makes sense. Like the more people are going to look at you as like that leadership that they want to get advice from. Okay. So that's really important. I'm going to try to move this up a little bit. I feel like my light's not very high. Well, whatever. Okay. Greater mind share. And so remember, these are just all the benefits of why you should create a brand for yourself. Okay. So what happens is when you create a brand, you're going to open up so many doors for you. Okay. And we're going to go over the steps of how you create your brand and that kind of thing. But these are really important because a lot of people don't understand why they need to create a brand. Okay. So it's going to create a greater mind share for you. So what it's going to do is going to open up your mind of the people that you want to target. Sometimes we're so limited to what we're doing. Like we just want to focus on stay-at-home moms, you know what I mean? Or we just want to focus on our family and friends. What this is going to do is it's going to open you up to so much more, because you're going to actually have to think for a minute about the things that you love and about things that make you happy and about things that you want to represent. And it's going to be more than one thing. So you need to open that up, and it's going to open this up for you so that you can target multiple groups of people and not limiting yourself to just one group, you know, not saying I'm just going to sell to my friends, or I'm just going to do this, or I'm just going to do that. Okay, association with a market niche. And now what's really important about this is it's like, there are going to be so many different rides that you take with this business, right? There are going to be so many different ways that so many leaders work this business. And one thing that I've always said is that you have to find your niche. You have to find what works for you. So if you've been in the business for 6 months and you don't get much business from social media, you either need to change it and figure out why you're not getting much business from social media, or maybe you should try like in-person parties or working events, or doing more one-on-one type things in person with people, because the issue is there's just some disconnect there. Okay. And so when I talk about finding your niche, sometimes people are good at everything. Okay. You'll see somebody that goes to a party and they can enroll every single person that's at that party. You'll see people work events and they're signing loyal customers and selling wraps like crazy at events. And you see people posting on social media, and next thing you know, you can see all the people that are interested in what they have to offer. But you can't be so hard on yourself. Okay. And one thing that in this business is you can't compare yourself to anybody else, for one. But something that is so important is you have to find what works for you. Rather than dipping in everything that's not working for you, try to limit yourself to 1 or 2 things that you can really focus on. And what I mean really focus on, really put the time and effort into it, right? So if you want to focus primarily on social media, you need to be adding 50 to 100 people a day on your social media, especially if you're starting with a 300 friends list, right? If you go and look at your profile page and you have 300 friends, your market is very, very small. So it's going to take time to build that. So you need to try to build that as fast as possible so that you're marketing to a bigger pool of people. Okay. Oh my gosh, my chair just almost broke. That would have been amazing. Okay. So association with a market niche, you really need to narrow this down, because sometimes it can get overwhelming where you're like, oh my gosh, I got to do virtual parties and I have to do online or in-person parties, and I have to work events and I have to be posting consistently on social media. So for a lot of you that work full-time jobs, you know what I mean? Or maybe your kids are involved in sports and it takes up a lot of your time. You've got to find something that works for you. Don't try to do everything at once. If you have all the time in the world and you're already a stay-at-home mom and maybe your kids go to school or whatever the case may be, dive into all of it, but find what you're good at. And you'll know what you're good at. You'll have a lot of response fairly quickly. It'll kind of keep you consistently busy. That's your niche, okay? This is also going to create greater credibility for you, okay? And what I mean by this is that it's so important for people to trust who you are and trust what you say. So by building a brand, by representing something specific. So like for me, I'll give you an example. So, I've been in the business for 4.5 years. And when I first started, my brand was basically being a stay-at-home mom and being able to make money from my phone. And while that's still a big part of my brand, I have recently opened up into the CrossFit world, okay? And one of the things that I really promised myself, one of the things that I really wanted to stay consistent with is getting in shape and really being a product of the product. I know these products are so awesome, right? But some of the hardest thing that we have as human beings, not just men or women or network marketers, but the hardest thing that we have as human beings is staying consistent. And it's because we get busy with life. You forget to take your supplements, you skip the gym because you're just too tired. But after I had my son Knox in 2015, I really wanted to be consistent with the products. I wanted to get into a routine that could be something other people could do that wouldn't cost them a lot of money and wouldn't take up a lot of time. So I started working out probably maybe it was like 9 months after I had my son. So I was really consistent with the products. I lost like 35 pounds right away. Then I started doing like some clean eating and I lost like another 10 pounds. And then I started working out with a personal trainer, right? So all of this time while everybody's watching, it's kind of like watching Tiffany Herr. If you guys don't follow Tiffany Herr, you should go follow her because her story is super inspiring. She just had a baby like 4.5 months ago and she's lost like 42 pounds or something crazy. And she looks amazing. And I really wanted to focus on something that I felt like people could really get into that wasn't just buy my products from me, right? So it's like I'm building credibility by saying, hey, I'm going to the gym, because most people think that the only way for you to lose weight is by going to the gym and eating right. When in actuality, I lost 35 pounds by just using supplements. So you know, it is what it is. But I have more credibility now when it comes to using my products because I go to CrossFit. Weird, right? I don't know why, but I have so many people from my gym that consistently ask me about my products and my protein shake because it's clean and because it's all natural and because it's plant-based and it's vegan. And all I'm doing is shaking it up after my CrossFit, after my workout, shaking it up. I don't sit there and like spam them about it works. I'm totally building relationships. They're on my friends list on Facebook, but I have built so much credibility with these people by showing them my lifestyle on Facebook, by using my products every day. Every single day when I leave that gym, I am shaking up an It Works shake every single day. And that's a big deal for people. They want to believe in what you believe in. So if they see you using the products, obviously that's going to build your credibility. But you have to, I feel like you have to do it with something else. Like you can't just use the products all the time and say, you know, I love my ThermoFit because it helps me burn extra calories and it helps me lose weight at the gym. And then you haven't lost any weight for 3 months, right? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if you guys saw this, but somebody, it was like in Indiana, Tiffany Herr made a video about this yesterday, but the radio show hosts were doing a show in the morning and they were talking about network marketing and how annoying everybody was because, you know, they were being added to groups or whatever. Everybody's trying to sell you something, that kind of thing. So they were just going off about it. But one of the things that the girl said about specifically It Works was that she has so many people that she had been following for a really long time, you know, oh, do these products work? Do these products not work? And they're claiming that these products work, but yet in a 6-month span, they haven't lost 1 pound. And now if you're using It Works products specifically for like hair, skin, and nails, or the energy drink or essential oils or the skincare line, that's fine. But if you're offering products that help you lose weight, you need to be a product of the product. You need to be using these products and showing people that they work because they work. And they're so inexpensive, you guys. I lost 35 pounds by just using the ProFit and the It's Vital Core Nutrition after I had my son. And once they introduced the shake, I switched to the shake and I lost like another 8 pounds. And now all I do is I take 1 ThermoFit before I go to CrossFit and I have a shake every single day. That's it. And I'm consistently losing weight. I bounce now between like 122 and 124 pounds. And that's just because I'm building muscle. So it's like, you know, there's my credibility for people. When they see me, they're like, oh my gosh, you look so good. What are you doing? CrossFit and It Works. That's what I'm doing. And I can tell you what, that as much as I try to eat healthy, as much as I try to make better decisions, I still eat out and eat horrible a few times a week. Okay. But people are still noticing my results. They're still looking at me and saying, wow, what's going on? Tell me more about it. So it's so important that when you're using our products or you're trying to offer our products to people, that you have some sort of a testimony to back that up. Okay. And so if you're not using our products for weight loss and somebody asks you about products for weight loss, you should be showing them pictures like Tiffany Herr or like people using our system or people using the Fat Fighters and the Greens. Show them before and after pictures. Okay. But if you're primarily focusing on, you know, the hair, skin, and nails, you should have before and after pictures of your hair, skin, and nails. Your skincare, post those before and afters of the skincare, of your face, of what's going on with your skin that you're loving so much about the products. It's so important that you guys get involved in this. Okay, so the next thing that building a brand will do is create recognition and prestige. And what that means is that people are going to start giving you recognition, right? So if you have these inspiring posts and you're posting about your weight loss journey or whatever it is that, or whatever brand that it is that you decide to create, people are going to start recognizing it. You know, like you see those people on Us Magazine all the time, you know what I mean? Or they're floating in your newsfeed on Facebook about this person posted this before and after picture. You know, like that's what's going to end up happening is you're going to create this following where people are constantly recognizing you for your accomplishments. They're sharing your story. They talk about you at such a high level and at such an inspirational level that more people start to follow you. Okay. And then you have a higher perceived value. So I feel like this list is kind of like a start to finish, like where you start when you build your brand and kind of where you finish. And a higher perceived value is so important. And one thing I kind of wanted to talk about this is a lot of people kind of, a lot of people, instead of just building this brand and working their business the way that they should work this business, they're constantly like trying to dab into other things, whether they want to do network marketing and real estate and whatever, you know what I mean? Like, or they want to do 2 different network marketing companies, or they want to do all these things. It's like, that is not going to create value for you. You know what that's going to do? That's going to show people that you're very wishy-washy and that you can't make decisions. And therefore, that means that you're not completely committed to the one company that you started working with. If you're not committed to that one company, how are you going to be committed to them as a customer 6 months from now when they still want to use our products or they're still a distributor on your team? You know what I mean? So you want to make sure that you're creating this value to people, that, you're loyal and you're very involved with everything that's going on, and you can actually answer their questions and help them out as they go through their business or their weight loss journey or whatever it is that they're doing when they become involved with you. And that's so, so important. You want people to look at you like, wow, I want to be her. Or I want to live that life. Or, I wish I could pack up and just go up north for the weekend. Or I wish I could pay off some debt. Or I wish I had an extra $500 that I could pay my car payment with. That's how you want people to look at you. Okay. So those are the top 8 benefits that he wrote about why it's so important to brand yourself. Okay. Now he goes into talking about how you brand yourself. And this is something that I know a lot of people struggle with. And this is probably why a lot of people haven't really done much yet with their social media page. Okay. So first things first, this is going to be your favorite part because it's actually going to make you try to find things that you like about yourself. And I know that's hard for people to do, but choose 1 to 3 areas of expertise. Meaning, what are 1 to 3 things that you're either very knowledgeable about or you're good at? What sets you apart from others? Okay. So like, are you outgoing? Are you funny? You know what I mean? Like, something that I'm not is very like witty or like on the spot funny. I have a lot of friends who are, and I have a lot of Facebook friends who can just come up with these random posts on Facebook and they're hilarious. They're so funny. And I wish I could be like that, but I'm not. But if you're witty and you're smart and you can come up with those really cool one-liners, start doing that on Facebook. Be funny. Let your personality out a little bit, especially now because, the way the Facebook algorithms work, it's like it doesn't matter if you really post a picture anymore. Some of the more popular posts are just like those one-liners where the font is really big, or using like the background colors that you can do with like a status too. Those are so much popular these days than posting a picture. So be funny, be creative with it. But one thing that I want you guys to think about tonight is, in the process of branding yourself, what sets you apart from everybody else? What are 1 to 3 things that you feel like you're so good at? Like, what are 1 to 3 things? Think about that because it's super important. Decide what you want to be known for. This is a big deal. Do you want to be known as the person who constantly whines on social media? Or do you want to be known for something bigger? Do you want to be known for something more? And so I know like for a lot of people, everybody starts this business for a different reason, right? So some people are not money driven. Some people are not, they're not interested in really losing that much weight. They just really like the products. They kind of want to use them. They want to make better, they want to make more friends or whatever the case may be. Right. But one thing that I found that I was like looking at as I was like trying to brand myself and doing all this stuff, and it actually really opened my eyes when I was at boot camp and I did that Feed the Starving Being Children event. And I love helping people and I love giving back. And I love that the fact that this company alone has really opened my eyes to that, right? It's the, before it works, I mean, I didn't really donate that much. It wasn't ever like, I never really thought about giving back a lot. But one thing that I really have, taken to heart since I've joined this business is not only helping people within my business, but helping people outside of my business. And there's so many things I wish I could do, that I wish I had more time, that I could help at every avenue of, places that need help. But one thing that I've decided to stay consistent with is that I'm going to be doing a Feed My Starving Children event once a month, right? And so there's a girl that is on a different team that lives here locally, and she's hosting an event once a month where she's trying to get as many It Works people to show up. And that is a great way to brand yourself, is giving back. You know what I mean? Teaching your kids how to give back, showing them that they're packing up all their toys and we're going to donate it to Phoenix Children's Hospital. Those things are going to get so much interaction for you. And it's not just for the interaction, you know what I mean? But we live in a world where it's like reality TV. The more reality you can show within your life and what you do, the higher your ratings are, as you can say, as you would put it, like on TV. But it's the truth. And it's like, if you're going to be doing all these great things and you want to be doing all these great things, you might as well document it, and you might as well share it with the world, because it's going to do two things. It's going to up your value on Facebook, but it's also going to open up other people's eyes. I want to do that. I want to be more involved. I want to teach my kids how to do that. And people are going to start responding to that. Okay. So it's so important. I thought that was just like such a good example of, something that you can brand yourself, because maybe you're not. And so this is kind of what started the whole thing. And so I've been in the business for a really long time, right? But I don't know if you guys are going to know any of these people that I name, but I am not somebody that's like over the top. I want to say this right without like sounding offensive in any way, but I'm not somebody that's like over the top, like spotlight on me, I guess you can kind of say. And that, not that there's anything wrong with that. Don't get me wrong. There's not anything wrong with it, but I'm a little bit more insecure when it comes to things like that. So you'll see like people like, Lachelle Ann, she just promoted to Presidential Diamond. She's like the number 44 earner. She's kind of flown to the top of this company in such a short amount of time. She's so inspiring. And I've watched her page now for a couple months, and a lot of the stuff that she posts, and I just don't feel like I could be her. You know what I mean? And I'm okay with that. It took me a little bit. It took me a minute to kind of be like, why can't I do that? You know what I mean? But she is engaged, and she doesn't have any kids. You know what I mean? So it's like, you have to kind of take a step back and take that into consideration, is that she's blonde and she's beautiful and she has this huge following and she's very red personality. Well, she'll just kind of make videos about whatever's on her mind, and that works for her. And that's okay. So another thing, when we talk about like finding your niche, that is all part of it. You know what I mean? Like, if you really want to focus on targeting those stay-at-home moms, you got to be relatable to those stay-at-home moms. You can't always be like a hot mess express. You can't always be taking these pictures where you can't see your face, or it's dull and dark. You know what I mean? And I know I've talked about this so many times, but it is so important to download those apps on your phone, like PicTapGo or even PicsArt if you don't have PicTapGo, and really use quality, bright photos. That right there will stand you out from everybody else. But my whole example with using Lachelle is because I kind of got into this situation where I was like, wait a second, you know what I mean? Like, all these young, beautiful girls are coming into this business and they're just flying to the top of this company. And you know what I mean? Like, why can't I do that? What is it? Like, what do they have that I don't? And after following them for a while, you know what I mean? We're just completely different people. Right? That's all there is to it. But that doesn't mean I can't go out there and brand myself with something like CrossFit and still be as successful as these girls. It may take me a little bit more time to kind of build that brand and get to where I want to be, but that's okay. And that's what I want you guys to understand, is that everybody's brand is going to be different, but yeah, it has to be authentic and it has to be you. I feel like if I were to start posting pictures or doing videos like Lachelle, people would be like, who is this person and where did they come from? You know what I mean? Like, it just would be so phony. And I feel like that for me, that I've already kind of created a brand where people know me and I'm like super outgoing and I'm friendly and I'm nice and I would never say like anything mean or rude or be any sort of a red personality whatsoever. So I feel like it would just really kind of set me back more than it would push me forward. But I love watching these girls like Lachelle because she is so super motivating and she says things that even I need to hear sometimes. You know what I mean? So it's good to follow those people, but just don't compare yourself to those people because you're just completely different in your journey and where you're at. And like one of my favorite people to follow is Susan Wade. She is kind of the same thing. She will just put stuff out there all the time, but she's a mom of almost 4 babies and she stays at home with her husband, and she and I have more things in common. And I like what she does. I like where she comes from. I like what she represents. And that's what you have to find, is people like that who can kind of give you that little bit of a nudge to kind of figure out where you want to be, right? To kind of figure out how you want to work this. Okay, so decide what you want to be known for. Like I said, that's going to be something that's super important. Do you want to be known for somebody that gives back all the time? Do you want to be known for that person that's just always positive? That's another compliment I always get, is people are always like, you're so positive on Facebook. Like, I never see you post anything negative. You're always so happy. You're always this, you're always that. And I love hearing that because it's really how I try to live my life. You know what I mean? Like, don't get me wrong, I have bad days. I just don't need to talk. You know, the more you talk about it, the more you sit on it and the more you dwell over it and the more it starts consuming you. So if you can just move forward from it and post something positive on Facebook and have a bunch of people like it and a bunch of people comment and say, I needed to hear this today, that is going to kind of help lift you up and get you over whatever you may be going through at home or in your personal life. Something I really like to do every day is try to start off with something positive, you know, a positive quote, a positive life quote, or whatever it may be. So I usually get them from the books that I'm reading. You know, I've been reading some personal development books, and a lot of the quotes, you know what I mean? I'll just highlight it and I'll copy and paste it and put it in my notes and then post it the next morning on Facebook. And it's been getting me a lot of interaction. A lot of people are messaging me and saying, you know, I love what I'm seeing. I love the positivity first thing in the morning, because while 99% of people are complaining about having to go to work or their kid was late to school or whatever the case may be, you know, there I am throwing in that shot of positivity that, you know, life can always be worse, or you can change and make your life better. Whatever you want to do, the choice is yours. Okay, so what is one thing that everyone says that you rock at? So these are just some ideas that you can kind of ask. These are some questions that you can kind of ask yourself so you can come up with your branding idea. What are your passions and interests? Once again, it's going to go back to authenticity. You want to make sure that what you're doing is authentic. You can't be posting about working out and losing weight if you're not working out and losing weight. You can't be giving people advice on what they should eat when you're not eating clean. Okay, so these are just some small things that just need adjustment. So what's your passion? Do you like to hike? You know what I mean? Do you like to golf? Once again, do you like to give back? Do you like to paint? Like, whatever it is that you love doing, this can also go along with like finding groups on Facebook to add yourself to. You know what I mean? Like, that's a big part of it too. If you're trying to build your social media network, you need to be adding yourself to groups and building relationships with people. So when you're branding yourself, make sure you're including yourself in all of these groups as well, so that you can go back and forth. When these people from these groups start adding you on Facebook and say one of your passions is hiking, and there's pictures of you hiking, Thunderbird Mountain or wherever it is that you live, there's that credibility that's being built, because they're like, wait a second, this person really does hike. No, they didn't just add me as a friend on Facebook because they want to sell me something. So everything you do has to always relate back to the previous step, your credibility, right? That's a big, big deal. Authenticity, that's a big deal. If makeup is your passion, whatever it is, find it and build a brand off of it. If you like doing makeup, you should do video tutorials of makeup. How to do like a smoky eye. I know a lot of people, I don't know how to do that. I try, but I'm not very good at it. So a lot of people would benefit from stuff like that. What do you read about most often? Okay, so are you reading a lot of self-development books? Do you like murder mystery books? Do you like for me, I'm either reading self-development or a lot of kids books. You know, I like to read a lot of Dr. Seuss, but stuff like that is going to help you figure out your brand. Okay. And will you be interested in this in 6 months to a year? Okay, I'm going to take a quick drink of water. because I have a lot to say. I have a lot to say about this specific topic. Not only when it comes to a brand is this important, but when it comes to this business, it's important. And the reason why is because if you start this business and you're not willing to run its course for at least a year, you're not going to find success in this business. And this is the reason why. Is because building a brand for yourself is going to take time. Okay. So while people are watching you build this brand that you've started to create, okay? And let's say it takes you 3 months to really start losing weight from the products, right? So you're showing your weight loss journey, you go to the gym, you're posting all these healthy meals, you've created this brand about going from, unhealthy and eating horribly to really focusing on dieting and exercising and using your products consistently and creating all these yummy food ideas, okay? If you're not still interested in doing that in 6 months, you're going to lose your credibility. And it's the same thing with It Works. If 6 months down the road of your It Works journey, the company that's going to change your life, you start posting about whatever else, makeup. Okay, you start posting about makeup and you want that to be your new passion, you're going to lose your credibility and you're going to lose it quickly because it's like, what were you thinking when you started It Works, right? Did you want to help people? Did you want to make money? Did you want to get healthy? What was it? Why did you start It Works? Because clearly what you started 6 months ago doesn't matter anymore, which means all the people that you've ever talked to about It Works and about the products and how amazing the company is and how it can change your life, they're going to start questioning whether you ever really believe that, right? Like, where's your credibility there? Where is it? If you sign up for this company, you had better believe to be spending and working and spending quality time working your business for at least a year before you can even think about this company not working or the products not working or the business not working, whatever the case may be. But at least a year. Because if you're not doing something consistently for at least a year, that means you were never serious about it in the first place. We'll say 6 months, because this said 6 months to a year. If you're not doing something consistently for 6 months, right? If you're so passionate about something, but you can consistently work it for 6 months, were you ever really passionate to begin with? Or did you just want to make money? I mean, that's a really serious question that you have to ask yourself, because a lot of people will come into this business and they'll post on social media and, they'll send text messages to their friends or ask people to be product testers, wherever the case may be, because this company is so amazing and it can completely change your life. And I've heard all these stories and blah, 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 blah. And then 2 weeks later, 2 weeks later, they'll be like, I don't think it's for me. I didn't have a lot of people interested. I kind of stopped posting. 2 weeks. Sometimes it's 30 days, sometimes it's 3 months, but most of the time it's 2 weeks. And the reason why is because it's going to take at least 3 to 6 months for you to build your credibility and for people to start trusting you. So you may be one of those lucky few that you have a nice network to work with when you first sign up. You have people hosting parties for you and you're building and things are kind of growing consistently, but then you hit this wall. Let's say like for 3 months, your business is going awesome and it's building consistently, but you hit this wall. And it's because over the course of those 3 months, you've been so busy with signing loyal customers and worry about signing distributors that you haven't branded yourself and you haven't set yourself aside from everybody else. And you haven't been building your network. And it's all of those have to do with everything. They all go together. In order to build your network with quality people and build yourself some credibility, you have to constantly be posting about your brand. And that's what he talked about too on his blog, is he talked about making sure that not only are all your social media profiles similar, right? So if you're posting on Facebook and you have a great picture, a great high quality picture as your profile picture on Facebook, you need to have the same thing on Instagram and the same thing on Twitter if you use Twitter or Pinterest, whatever it is that you use. But when somebody's scrolling through your timeline, right? So say they click on your profile and they're scrolling, and even sometimes at the top you can see like those, I think they're like I don't know what they call them. They're like the pictures that you can put that just kind of resemble who you are or whatever, that kind of gives people like a little bit of an eye open into your world. And then you scroll down and it's going to show a picture that you've either posted or like you've been tagged in. And this isn't to be offensive, but sometimes I will untag myself from pictures, not because I don't like the way I look or whatever the case may be, but I don't like what they represent. I don't like how they look on my profile page, right? So if they're not bright and colorful pictures, they're like dull and dark, I will just remove myself from the tag, because I don't want that to be one of the first things that people are seeing on my profile page. I want them to see bright, happy pictures of me with my family, or me with my team, or featured photos. Thank you, Rainbow. That's what it's called. Featured photos. Make sure that your featured photos are very bright, very fun. Make it look like your life is just so darn exciting. And that's what's going to get people to accept your friend requests when you send those friend requests as well. Have a catchy bio, okay? So something that says, like mine says like CrossFitter, coffee lover, mom, wife, you know, entrepreneur. I don't think it says entrepreneur. It says like dream maker or something like that, but it doesn't say like It Works Presidential Diamond. It doesn't say anything about that. It just has some catchy little phrases that will kind of draw people in, so that that they actually accept my friend request and don't think that I'm automatically going to try to sell them something. Because believe it or not, when people accept my friend request, I don't go message them right away. I go to their profile page and I start looking at their stuff and commenting and, you know, try to find things that keep us relatable, that kind of put me on their radar with them wanting to like and comment on my pictures without me being over the top aggressive. Okay, post every day to your most valued social media profiles. So like for me, Facebook is my most valued social media profile. It's the one that I get the most likes, comments, you know, it's the one that I have to work the least hard at to get people to interact with me. Whereas Instagram, you know, you have to use a lot of hashtags. You got to make sure you're using the right hashtags so that you're really associating yourself with the right people, because a lot of Instagram profiles are fake, or, you know, there's just a lot more work to be done on Instagram. So Facebook is my main source, and you have to make sure that you are posting consistently and once again sticking to that brand. Good. Diamond just took 30 minutes editing her profile, her featured pictures on her profile. That's awesome. That's what you want to do. Okay, so post every day to your most valued social media profiles consistently and make sure it represents your brand. Make yourself easy to find. Hi, Jay. I'm almost done. Okay, bud? Sorry. Make yourself easy to find. So a lot of people will like block themselves from having people be able to look for them. So like for me, they can not only find me by my name, but they can also find me by my Phoenix Skinny Wraps page, or they can also find me by my email. So make sure that it's easy for people to find. And obviously I have a unique name, so it's typically easy for people to find me, but don't block that information. Don't block it, because sometimes people will Google, you know, a name that they find on like a Blitz card. And if your name isn't the first one to pop up, or your headline isn't the first person to pop up, they're going to end up on somebody else's profile to order their products. Surround yourself with top-notch people. This is so important. And the reason why it's so important is because a lot of times we feel like we have to be a friend before we are a business owner. And let me tell you what, one of the great things about this business is that we do get to build these most incredible friendships. You meet the most incredible people. Some of them are your friends for a little bit, and some of them are your friends for a long time. But the one thing that you have to understand is that this is always going to be a business, okay? And you have to have that mindset. And it's not to hurt anybody's feelings or to make anybody feel bad, but if you're constantly surrounding yourself with people who are complaining about their business, or complaining about their job, or complaining about their life, or they're just very negative people, you're going to find yourself down that same path. And it could be people that are outside of It Works, but if it starts happening within your It Works circle, you need to separate yourself from that. And the reason why is because if you're like me, those negative comments, those negative messages, all of those things that happen on a daily occurrence. And, you know, with a team that I have as big, there are some weeks where I literally get 20 to 40 messages of people complaining about their business or wanting advice or this and that. And I'm always willing to give advice, but I'm only willing to give advice to people who are willing to change what they're doing. You know what I mean? Like, sometimes people will just want like a pat on the shoulder and be like, oh, you know, it's okay, it's gonna get better, no big deal. But that's not the case, you know what I mean? So you need to be able to take the constructive criticism. If your business isn't where you want it to be, and you join this business because you want to get to the top, you really have to take in what the advice that people are going to give you in order for you to succeed. This can't just always be about, you know, you poor thing, or poor me, or poor me. Sometimes it's not for you. And sometimes it's, dude, you got to add more people on Facebook. Your posting needs to step up a notch. You need to be able to know what you're talking about. But keep yourself away from those negative people. Negative people will only bring you down. If they're always seeing like the downside of everything, like they're constantly complaining, nobody got on this call, or nobody showed up to this event, or nobody showed up to this training, who cares? You've got to always find the positivity in everything that goes on. So let's say you're a brand new distributor and you host your first party and one person shows up. That is not a bad thing. That is a great thing. I've done parties for people, for brand new distributors, where nobody shows up. And you know what happens? We do a training. And they get to sample the products, and they get to ask questions. And you know what? I leave there knowing that that distributor now has more knowledge than they had before I showed up. So there's always positivity in every situation. You just got to look for it, and you got to find it. And you want to surround your people that can constantly find a positive out of any situation. Okay. So make sure you surround yourself with top-notch people. And this is the same thing on your social media. If you're following people that are complaining all the time, unfollow them or delete them on Facebook if you don't know them. Okay. Only follow positive, uplifting, motivating people, because that's going to get you motivated every single day to work your business. Have confidence to reach out to the best. So this is also known as like having a chicken list. And what we refer to as a chicken list is a list of people that we think would do so amazing at this business, we are just terrified to ask them to work the business. Create a list, build your confidence with the products and with the business, knowing that this business does change people's lives, and the products do work. And don't be afraid to reach out. Don't be afraid to reach out. The worst thing that they can say is no. And then what? You move on. Find mentors. And that's a big deal too. It's like, you want to find people that you can trust and that you can look up to. So, you know, there's I'm going to post a list of the top 10 income earners that were just announced at boot camp last weekend in the group page. These are great people to follow. Top 10 income earners. So they're making anywhere from, you know, probably $70,000 to $200,000 a month. So, and they're consistent, and they're motivating, and they're empowering, and they're inspiring, and they have their own brand. And they're definitely people that you want to follow in order to kind of mimic a lot of what they're doing. Ask for advice and learn from everyone. There's nothing wrong with asking for advice or asking questions. What it shows to me is that you actually want to succeed. So when I get a message from somebody and they're like, hey, can you help me with the response to this because I don't want to mess it up? Yes, I can absolutely help you with the response to this, because sometimes we do get into those funks where we feel like, I can't respond to this person. Now, if it's every single message for, like I said before, like 6 months, then there's an issue. But every now and then I'll do it too, where I'm like, okay, in 90% of the time, you're just overthinking it. You're just overthinking the process that you've done 1,000 times already. You just need to kind of see it from an outsider's view. But ask for advice. Where should I place this person? Should I do this? What should I go for? You know what I mean? Asking for advice is an amazing quality that you can have, because it means that you really want to find success and you really want to do it right. So you should be reaching out to your diamond, double, triple, presidential ambassador upline in order to get your questions answered. There's nothing wrong with that. Okay, so one of the things that is super important that I want to address, this is like the last thing that I'm going to talk about, and then I'll open it up for questions. But when you ask questions, you have to be willing to listen to the response that you're going to get. Okay. And now I mainly mean this when it comes to why isn't my business growing, or what can I do better, or what can I do more of? Okay. Because a lot of the times you're probably not going to like the answer that you're going to get back. And what I mean by that is that it's not, like I said, it's constructive criticism, and you have to be willing to take constructive criticism. I've taken it many times in my journey with It Works, and sometimes it's really pissed me off, and sometimes it's really fired me up. It just depends on the day. But there's nothing wrong with either of those reactions. It's just, how are you going to move forward from it? What are you going to do to make your business better? So if you're asking a question like, why isn't my business going anywhere? Or why can't I get anyone to buy a product? The first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to ask you how many people you've talked to in the last 2 days. And if you tell me 2 people or you tell me 4 people, you're not going to get the nicest response. You can't expect to grow a business at the rate that you want to grow a business by talking to 2 to 4 people a day. You cannot do it. You have to be realistic. If you're going to talk to 2 to 4 people a day, you can expect to probably promote to executive within your first 6 months. And I'm not lying about that. There are very rare occurrences where you talk to 2 to 4 people and they all sign up all the time, but it rarely happens. You've got to be talking to 40 to 50 people a day. And if you don't have the time to do that, you have to just set realistic goals for yourself. You have to. Or else you're going to get into this bubble of comparison where all these people around you are promoting and moving forward and you can't figure out why you're stuck. And we know why you're stuck. You know what I mean? We know what's going on and we know that you're not reaching enough people, but you have to make the decision to either reach out to more people or be stuck where you're at. Those are the 2 options. Be stuck where you're at or start reaching out to more people. And one of the things that Pam Souter said, there was a girl that stood up and she said, you know what I mean? She worked a full-time job and she had been in the business for a year and she had only signed, I think, 1 distributor in her entire year that she had been in the business. And so she was very emotional when she started talking about it. And, you know, she said, I just feel like I can't find the time to balance everything. You know, I work a full-time job and when I get home, I want to spend time with my kids, but I also want to work my business. So I feel guilty when I work my business and I feel guilty when I'm with my kids. And Pam said, just as blunt as can be, well, which one makes you money? Because if you're going to feel guilty either way, you might as well make money, right? And then she gave her some advice and said, listen, kids only have an attention span for so long, right? So they're going to want you to play with them for what, 15 to 20 minutes? So in that 15 to 20 minutes, you put your phone up and you play with your kids and you spend time with them and you talk to them and you do homework or whatever it is that you need to do. And then once they're distracted and they're kind of playing on their own or they're doing homework by themselves, then you grab your phone and you start sending those messages. But a lot of people overcomplicate this business so much they don't realize how easy it is to just send messages really quick. And it's a simple copy and paste, follow up, follow up, follow up. So Mondays are like my days that I follow up with my loyal customers. And I have a list of my loyal customers right in front of me. And I communicate strictly through text. So all I have to do is pull up my text and I know where my last message left them. I know where we're at because I can scroll back and see that communication that's going on, right? And I change a lot of auto ships for my customers. You know what I mean? I have their account info, so I do a lot of updating for them. You know what I mean? So I just want to make sure they're liking their products. They want to change to something else, whatever it is that they want to do. But you guys, like, this isn't hard work. It's time-consuming work, but it's not hard work. You just have to make the decision of whether or not you're going to do it. Because these steps that you take to build a brand and follow up and, you know, become somebody that somebody wants to be like, that's what's going to get your business growing at the rate that you want it to grow at. That's what's going to happen for you. And sitting around and kind of waiting for things to blossom for you, sitting around and kind of waiting for people to like your post, sitting around and waiting for people to come to you, it's going to take a long time. And don't get me wrong, you're going to have those moments or those weeks or those months where you have a flooded amount of people that are coming to you. And then you're going to have like 3 months where nobody comes to you. And that's where you need to step up your game. And that's where you need to start reaching out to people and asking them to host parties, offer incentives for people to host parties, that kind of thing, hostess incentives. I posted earlier in the group page that Ronnie Brown video. And it's a video that she made specifically for her team, basically talking about her number 2 rank and all the stuff that she's gone through to get there and that kind of thing. And it's such an amazing video because she says something that was so on point for me to hear, because I have been going through kind of a lull with my business. Not a lull, I should say, but my personal business, obviously it's not where I want it to be, right? So I'm at like a low point, and it's not for lack of working. You know what I mean? With all the free time that I have, I am putting 100% effort into my business. And she said something so good. She said, you know, right now could be a harvest time for you, where you're planting those seeds and you're sending those messages and you have this list of all these potentials. You just can't get anybody to hop on board. And right now could be a pruning season for the other people that you follow on Facebook. So it's like you see all these people that are enrolling, you know, 10, 15, 20 distributors. And you're like, what the heck? You know, why am I not enrolling that many distributors? And it could just be your seasons are off. And that's one thing that you have to remember. But it's all going to start with the harvest. It's all going to start with how many seeds do you have planted out there? That's where it's going to start. And, you know, if you're not willing to work this business face to face, and you're not willing to get out there and blitz, and you're not doing all that stuff, and you're not, when you're blitzing, you're not collecting people's information so that you can follow up with them, primarily then your business is going to be run on social media. And if it's primarily run on social media, you need to be making sure that you're building a network every single day. You're building a following. You know what I mean? Like, you want people to follow your life. You want to create a lifestyle that people want to live, right? You want people to follow you and want to be like you and ask you questions and really interact with what you've got going on social media. Okay. And it starts with building a brand. So now that I've gone over all of that information, I know it was a lot of information. The things that I want you guys to really focus on tonight and jot down notes and start writing things out is choose 1 to 3 areas of expertise, right? Or choose a few things that people recognize about you. Okay. So if you're constantly getting complimented on something or other, like, oh my gosh, your makeup looks so good. You know, like, how did you do that? You can kind of lead with that. You can kind of go with that. And what are your passions and interests? Okay. And so this is where you're going to start the foundation of your brand. This is where it's going to start is, what do people compliment you on the most of? And what are your passions and your interests? And you're just going to make a list of 3 things. And then tomorrow, yay, this is going to be a little bit of homework for everybody. Tomorrow, I want you to write down the things that you are, your 3 things. The 3 things that you want to be known for, okay? And you're going to write down, and you're going to take a picture, okay? And you're going to post it in the group page. And I want to see it. I want to see what's going on, because when I go to your profile page, because this is where you're going to start branding yourself. And so when I go to your profile page, I want to start seeing all of those things represented on your Facebook page or on your Instagram page, whatever it is that you're using. I want to see those things as a primary focal point on what you're trying to promote, on what you're trying to brand yourself with. Okay, so are we all in agreement to that? Can everybody do that? 3 things. I want you to write them down, take a picture, and post it in our group page. And I'm going to hold you to it. And this is going to be accountability, because if you guys are not where you want to be in your business, this is where it starts. This is where we start. Okay. And we're going to come together, and we're going to cheer each other on, and we're going to be rooting for each other, because that's what we do. But it's going to start with maybe a little bit of tough love. Okay. So if you're going to have interests, and you're going to have things that you want to talk about and things that you want to be known for, you better start doing it. Okay. And so tonight, once you write your 3 things down, I want you to go update your featured photos on your profile picture, as well as that little description thing below. What did he call it? Your bio. Have a catchy bio. I want you to update that. Take out "it works," anything. Okay. You can put like business owner or like whatever it is, but I want you to really focus and really think about it. Don't just go in there and do it. Really think about it. Use PicTapGo or PicsArt to brighten up your pictures, create collages, do all these things. This should take time and effort, you guys. Pick photos that you love. Pictures of you out at events, It Works events. Pictures with you with your kids. Pictures of you on the beach, like traveling with your family, like things that are going to bring people in and be like, wow, she's got a great life. You know what I mean? Looks like she travels a lot. She gets to spend a lot of time with her kids. She has a fun job. That's what you want people to see. Okay, when they look at your profile page. Okay, so that's your task for tonight. Does anybody have any questions? This is so exciting. I'm so excited for this. Let's see, we have the chat going on. Okay, so Trisha asked, this is a little bit ago, can you share more examples of brands? Okay, so branding yourself, you know what I mean? So it's like, okay, so I'm just gonna use it as an example because I have like that whole group of girls in Missouri, like Shadera and Brittany and all those girls, and they have animals, you know, they have horses that they're constantly riding. So like Shadera is known as, you know, she has horses. She's also a rack girl. She's a hairstylist, and she also does like barrel racing. So all of those different things are brands for her. She's branding herself by associating all of those things within her profile. And it's very consistent. She's very consistent. Rainbow is a good person to follow. You know, she's definitely like one of those boss babes, very independent, beautiful, you know, blonde, successful, confident. Like these are all brands. You know, she loves her Frenchie, her little baby pup that's about to have puppies in 2 days. You know, those are the kind of things. She's very into fashion. She's very into design. Those are brands. You know what I mean? And so if you like to design, if you like, you know, like something that I really, really enjoy, although I don't post about it a lot, is like vintage type of like furniture or vintage markets, or like, you know, things like that where everything is, I gotta mute everyone really quick, where everything is like old school, you know what I mean? Like most of those pieces are going to be very unique. I love that type of furniture. I love that type of stuff. So maybe I'll start posting about that more often, you know what I mean? But those kinds of things are brands, you know what I mean? It could be you like shopping at a specific store, you like using a certain brand of makeup, you like doing makeup tutorials, you like doing hair tutorials. Like those are all brands, but you just got to pick 3. Yeah, crafty mom. You love to make cakes and decor. Yep, perfect. That's perfect. That's absolutely perfect. Yep. That's a great network to work with too. Okay, I think we have some more chats going on. Let's see. Questions. Promote a lifestyle that people want. Yep, Rainbow is correct. Okay, so L is LACHELLE, and then Ann is just her middle name. Okay, let's see. Yeah, PicTapGo and PicsArt are great apps to use to brighten up those photos. Okay, I think that was all the questions. All right, guys. Well, I will post this back in the group page. I want to start seeing those 3 things that you're going to be branding yourself for tomorrow morning. If you have any questions, as always, let me know. And then I will be posting the top 10 earners in the group page so that you guys can go out and follow them. So awesome night. I hope you guys got a lot of good information, and I will chat with you soon. Bye.